Welcome to Soapdish. Wow, it's been a while. Hi, Luann. I'm in
Hi.
Minnesota. Luann's in Florida. So
Yes, can you tell from what we're
hence the
wearing?
dress difference, you know?
Yeah. Oh, hi, Mark. Yes, it's been
Hi.
a long time
It
since
has.
we've caught up with Young and the Restless.
Life gets in the way, real life gets in the way of our soap operas.
Yes,
It's
I know
unfortunate.
it is unfortunate. Our personal lives, they have to take precedence sometimes,
That's too bad.
but even though we're not on the air, we are still watching.
Yep.
Young and the Restless and keeping up on it and
Oh, yeah.
DVRing it when we can't,
That's right.
watch it live and yeah. So I'm looking forward to dishing
All
to
right.
with you today.
Me too. All right, let's get started.
Okay.
So I just wanted to make a little comment here, and that is I want to try something different today. And that is I'm gonna give us, me and you, a scenario of what's going on the show, and then just look for your general reactions, whatever you want to say about it, and then
Okay.
predict kind of where you think that storyline's going. I want to try that and just see how that goes.
Okay.
It's easier for me putting together the agenda too.
I'm up for that.
Okay. All right. So let's talk first about Victor. He recently took over Chancellor, and him and Billy had a kind of a long feud. And of course, that goes way back, as does Jack and Victor. So, what do you think about that storyline?
Well,
Just following it.
yeah, just following that line when he took over Chancellor and, they ousted Billy. Well, actually, Jill did. She just said, well, I'm selling my share back to Victor. And Billy was, really taken aback when his mother did that. And so he was out. And, Lily made nice at Abby and Devon's wedding with Victor, even though she was very upset yet that Nikki is going to be running Chancellor. And the only one that is really happy with how everything has turned out at Chancellor is Nikki, because Nikki is really looking forward to running that company. And Victor's very happy to have Nikki running that. So she seems very happy with had this new responsibility. And
Sure.
Victor wanted to really cut Billy out, but it will be interesting what happens with Lily.
Right. What do you predict?
Well, and now Claire will be coming to work with Nikki. So I don't know what role yet, if she's coming in there as an assistant to Nikki or,
They
they'll
haven't
be
really
giving,
established that, have they?
no, or if they'll give her some additional responsibilities. So perhaps there'll be a bigger role for Claire at Chancellor, because somewhere she has to get away from being Harrison's nanny and being more of a business professional so that there's more storylines that
Yeah, that's true.
can help her grow in her role. And I still wonder what Lily will do. She has not really committed to going back to Winters, so maybe she will still be pushy, or Nikki will determine that, hey, I really do need Lily back.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. They've kind of silenced that whole storyline with her, haven't they? There hasn't
Right.
been much with her lately.
No,
Yeah.
no, there
Okay.
hasn't been anything after the wedding.
Yeah.
That all just kind of went boom,
Went silent.
down.
Yep. Yep. All right. Next, let's talk about. So Billy's getting involved with Sally Spectra.
Yes. Yeah.
I like
They-
these two because they're kind of.
Yes.
I kind of like this matchup because they're both kind of. How would I say it? They're kind of both a little dysfunctional.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Pe-
like both
people-
of them, but they're just
Yeah.
they're both kind of you know what I mean? They're just kind of always in
Yeah.
the soup.
They don't give them the benefit of a doubt
No.
that they could do better. But they had some wild, passionate love there a couple weeks ago in bed.
Yeah. Soft
was pretty
porn
hot.
on the young and the restless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they seem, Adam, when he watches them, is still very jealous.
He saw
of
him
it.
kissing here the other day. That was you could see he was pretty jealous about that.
Yeah, and in today's episode, Adam and Billy were arguing, and Sally happened upon it.
Yeah.
And she said, hey, Adam, let it go. I've learned to let it go. And Adam said, well, apparently it's easier for you than it is for me. So,
Yeah, which is interesting coming from him. Yeah.
And I would predict that things will keep blossoming for Sally and Billy.
I would agree with that. I think so too.
They seem to be hitting it off really good, and they're leaning on each other. And I don't think it's a rebound relationship. I think they're both feeling like, hey, we have a good time together, and right now let's just have fun, and it's comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And they can lean on each other. And right now, Sally is, doing well in her position. We'll see what Billy is going to do, being that he approached Jack, about coming back to Jabot, and Jack wasn't real, open to doing that. So, and that was because, and we'll probably talk that later.
Yeah,
about
we got
Kyle,
that coming up.
Because he couldn't share with Billy what the plans are. So maybe down the road, Billy has to find a home somewhere to work, and perhaps Jabot will open up back to him. I don't know about that though, because Kyle's not real big on Billy either. So who knows where Billy's going to work?
Well,
who knows what Billy's going to do?
Right, that's right. All right, so Jack and Diane, next topic here. Jack and Diane faked their marital problems to fool Victor, to back up here a little bit, into trusting Diane, because they thought they wanted Victor to think that Diane and Jack were on the outs. And that Diane was willing to work with Victor to kind of screw Jack over.
And Kyle.
And Kyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So interesting. And now Gisaad, I don't fully understand all this, but Victor gave Gisaad back to
Diane,
right?
Mm-hmm.
I still think. What do you think about that? What do you think about that?
Well, it sounded like with Vic. What surprised me is when he gave it to Diane, Gisaad, and then they found it was an empty shell that he had sold out all the little divisions.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah, he sold out. So it was
some of that with travel.
So it was just in name, and then unbeknownst to Diane, Jack in the background knew that Victor was pulling something. So Victor was really dumping those little sideline companies that were part of Gisaad, and so Jack picked them up. He paid for them. He brought them back into the fold of Gisaad and paid. He said, I got them on, pennies to the dollar, because Victor was just doing a, big sale on them just to get rid of them. And so, Jack and Diane really pulled that off well, because you and I had discussed the last time that, we didn't think it was real, because, Jack's always tries to work things out, and Jack wasn't working. He was like, I'm washing my hands of her. We're no longer going to.
And it was pretty sudden too.
It was pretty sudden, and we kind of wondered if that was for real. And then when we found out, it was like, because we got a hint of it where she was talking to someone on the phone and said, Victor's putting a little ploy in here that could affect what we're doing. And then, when they finally came clean that, yes, they had been faking this. And I think Ashley was disappointed that they had been faking it.
Yeah, she was, because she hates Diane.
Yeah, because she was hoping to get Diane out of the picture. And,
No,
Tracy is always nice. And she was like, okay, if this is, I don't agree with what you did, but okay. And Kyle had a hard time first, understanding what they did, because he was very angry, and he was very angry at Diane, because he would call, Jack and Diane Dad and Diane. It's like, well, that's a, smack in the face for Diane,
Yep.
But he started coming around when he realized that Jack and Diane were doing this because they loved him and, wanted to make things better for him, to get him out from under Victor.
Every time you say Jack and Diane, it brings me back to a little ditty about Jack and Diane.
I know. And I think, because now
Little John Mellencamp.
Little John Mellencamp. I think that, and I wasn't surprised when Jack offered Diane a role in running Gisaad. Because it's like, okay, I could see that happening. And I would think Kyle would be okay with that because if he's back at Jabot now, and he sounds like he's coming back, he's accepted their proposition that he comes back to their company. I think, Diane will run Gisaad. Who knows where they'll take that? Maybe, like Jack said, they'll put some other little things in those little shops of Gisaad that makes it different than Jabot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That'll be interesting to see. I agree. To see where that all heads. All right. Let's talk next about Kyle. Well, we already talked about Kyle and not trusting Jack and Diane. We've been through that one. Mm-hmm, Kyle is next. Let's talk about Kyle is getting romantically involved with Claire.
Yes.
Wow.
Because
Speaking of soft porn.
Yeah, they were kissing, and then in yesterday's episode, I think it was, or no, Tuesday's maybe, they were in bed.
I know.
And as
that advanced rather quickly once it started to move.
And I thought, well, because she was so innocent.
I know.
Oh my gosh, it was like Kyle is showing her the ropes, I guess. Of
evidently.
And I was surprised with that, but she was very comfortable, with Kyle. And I remember I was watching the soap with my sister, and we both said, I wonder if Summer will come in again. Because remember the first time they went to the bedroom a couple weeks ago.
That's right. Summer
all of a sudden,
walked
Summer
in.
came over and interrupted them. And this time Summer didn't. But it was interesting watching Summer in yesterday or the other day episode when Kyle and Claire were in the restaurant. And they were cooing over each other. And then I think they leaned over and kissed each other. And Summer's kind of looking like, what the heck is going on? So Summer approached them even, and she said, has your relationship changed? And you could tell that Claire was a little, like shy to say anything. And Kyle said, well, yeah. He said, actually, she's been helping me mend fences with my mom and dad. And Summer said, well, that's good, and
she has been good with that, by the way. I
yeah,
think
she has.
She's been really good with that.
And I think that's
Very mature
what will,
as far as how she
I
looks
think
at
that's
it.
what's helping Kyle be kinder to his parents and more accepting of what they did. And
she's a good influence.
Understanding the opportunity that they're giving him again, because he does act like an entitled brat sometimes.
He does. Yes, he does. He does. He acts. But, if you go back historically on Young and the Restless, when John Abbott was playing a big role and Jack was younger, Jack was kind of a-hole himself at times.
Oh, he was. Yes.
When he was
He
younger.
acted
He's really
entitled
mature
also.
now. I mean, he's the matriarch of the family now.
Yeah, he is now the patriarch. Yeah, and I think, he's the voice of reason. That's why it was so odd when he and Diane were having that, make-believe arguments. That,
right.
But going back to Kyle and Claire, I see their relationship growing.
Okay.
And I think the only thing that's going to get in the way is Summer is going to want Kyle back now because he looks attractive again to her, because he's being a good boy now. And she really got upset with Chance. And so I could see where Summer will get jealous of some of the relationship between Claire and Kyle.
I can see that too. I think that's a good prediction, Luann. I think that will. I think you're right. That'll probably happen. All right. Next, let's talk about Claire and Crazy Aunt Jordan. They come face to face outside of the restaurant there.
Yes, she's back.
She's got her sunglasses and her wig. She's got a good
and a Cockney accent.
Yes. I always get a kick out of that on these soaps when they do that, when they put these stupid disguises on, and nobody, I mean, they're just unrecognizable. Really?
Really, yeah. And Claire even said when she was with Kyle and they bumped into Crazy Aunt Jordan, and Claire afterwards said, she just looks familiar to me. I don't know who she is.
Isn't that funny how they do that? Oh, she looks familiar to me.
and you and I had talked about, I wonder when Aunt Jordan will come back.
Yep.
And
Here we
lo
go.
and behold, here she's back. And, we'll talk a little bit more about
Her teaming up.
Jordan and Ian. But it's kind of weird how they brought them back and how it coincides with Sharon.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting.
Next, let's talk about that. So Adam and Nick get into it today about what is happening with Sharon. Adam wants information. He wants to know what's up with her.
Yeah.
And Nick's not sharing, understandably, based on what he knows.
Yeah. And I'm hoping
what do you think
Adam
about this one?
Yeah. I'm hoping, I'm thinking the best of Adam because he has kind of changed, that he would have good intentions, that he does want to sincerely help Sharon or be there for her to lean on. But Sharon doesn't need him right now. And I think that's what Nick is seeing. And Nick has really taken on a protective role over Sharon.
Yep.
I think he feels that she's a lost soul and I have to be there to help her. If wrong or right, that's how he's feeling.
Yep, I think you're right.
Yeah. So
where do you
Adam
think
and
that's headed? Prediction.
Yeah, Adam and Nick they're arguing quite a bit about it as of late, and I think Nick will be very forceful with Adam, and I think Nick. I was glad today in today's episode, Michael approached Nick and he said, I know you went directly to Chance and you want to have him, check out this prescription of Sharon's and then get back to you with the results. He said, that doesn't cut it. He said that he has to give that to the DA first and then they could share it with us because he said, it could look like, because you're someone who has money and power that you're going around the system. And he said that could be a detriment. So Nick, I think, has good intentions, but he gets he gets
him too emotionally wrapped up.
Too emotionally wrapped up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. I agree. I'm going to make a prediction here too, and that is that I think Adam is going to try to get cozier and cozier with Sharon.
Well.
And you're right, and I agree with Nick. She doesn't need that because Adam doesn't have his crap together, so he's not in a good place to be dealing with Sharon and all her problems.
No, I agree. No, because Sharon is not strong enough right now. No. She's at a fragile state.
She needs somebody like Nick that's strong, a strong male to kind of take care of things.
Yeah.
So.
And going back to Adam, Chelsea's made it pretty clear to Adam that she loves what they have with, their son, but there's nothing more there. Even if Adam wants it to be something more,
surprises me.
Chelsea is like, I know, I was surprised. She's like,
I thought Chelsea and Adam would fall head over heels again, but it doesn't look like you're right. It's not going to happen. I don't think.
Chelsea's not going to do that for Connor. She's like, he knows we both love him, that we get along, but she said, I do not want to be with you again. So that might be why you're saying, if Adam decides
because Adam has no woman right now, and that's not like Adam. So he's going to go after somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk next about Phyllis was run off the road on the way to meet Sharon. And the question now is, did Sharon do it?
You do kind of wonder.
What are your reactions?
Because, as they're panning the two, cars driving at each other, it looked like they were coming at each other, but Sharon was not doing it intentionally. She was kind of, lost, and Phyllis was looking at her phone because of the text messages.
She was distracted.
And somewhere, I believe, and, now we have to look back at, what all happened with Heather. It sounds to me like Ian and Crazy Aunt Jordan could have some involvement with that, and that we have not been privy to. We didn't see that in the scenes.
I think you're right.
Yeah, but
I think
Sharon,
that's right.
Yeah. So then the only thing it makes me wonder is in the original scenes with Sharon after she killed Heather, where she shows her dumping the body in the water. Was that really Sharon doing that, or was she imagining that? So you just do kind of wonder, what is really Sharon responsible for with Heather's death, And then how responsible was she with the car accident? Or was it
agree.
something, with those prescriptions that they're getting checked out, that she does black out, I don't know. We'll see.
I'm going to predict that Sharon is going, and I don't know if I may have said this earlier, I can't remember, but Sharon is it's going to end up being totally a medical problem, not even mental health.
Oh, really?
It's going to be a brain tumor that's causing erratic, crazy behavior with her. That's my prediction. That's what I think is going to happen.
Because the only thought that I have is Ian and Jordan had access somehow to her phone. Did they have access and changed out her pills? Something like that. That's what I don't know.
That would be my other prediction. If it's not the one I predicted, I would say that those two, like you said earlier, were not privileged to what actually happened there, and that Ian and Jordan were involved with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right.
I agree.
So
that's going to be fun to watch.
Oh, I know.
So at least I would say this. I'm glad Ian's back. I liked Ian because he's a really good bad guy. He's very believable.
He is.
He just looks like he just plays the part. I like him on that show.
And it kind of looks like when he and Jordan are interacting, he doesn't really care for Jordan. Then she'll threaten him and he'll be, no. And he'll smile at her. Yeah. And as soon as she walks away, he gives a look like, I have to deal with her.
You got to put up with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you mentioned it, and we've talked about it, but he's a past villain, and he's back, teaming up with Jordan. Their goal is to take the Newmans down.
Yeah.
With Ian, both of them. So
yeah, and you and I have talked about, and I've talked about with my sister who also watches Young and the Restless, and I've read up on some.
We got to get Holly on here for a guest appearance.
Yes, because she has her own predictions too. Usually,
yeah, I'm sure she does.
And but Ian has, from the past, from what I've read, has interactions with Sharon and Mariah, and if he's coming back to make make their lives miserable, those two, because he's wanting Jordan, because Ian's very disappointed right now because he said, hey, there's no more news on Heather's murder, and what are they doing with Sharon? He said, Jordan, go out there and find out what's going on. Because I want to make their lives miserable. So if he's starting with Sharon and Mariah, and then and then they'll get to Victor if it's the Newmans too. And then, and crazy on Jordan, she still has a thing with the Newmans also now, especially Victor because of what he did to her. And then with Claire, my prediction is somewhere down the road, she's going to keep spying on Claire. And at some point, Claire's going to notice her. At what point, I don't know. She'll be nervous.
I think so too.
There'll be something that Claire gets a eerie feeling or something like I'm being
watched. Pulls her wig off. Goes like this.
Something.
Whips her wig off.
Yeah.
Can't you see it?
I know. That would be interesting.
That would be good, wouldn't it?
That would be a shock for Claire. She'd be, oh my God, she's back.
Yep,
And then you talked, I saw one of your past notes here about Sharon confessing to the murder of Heather.
Thank you. I skipped over that one.
And I think Nick, and that's why he's pushing some of this with Chance and doing some of that because, she's just like, I just give up. I want to plead guilty. And Michael is saying, no, he said, there's things that we can do to get you a lighter sentence.
Family, because you got
get
kids,
you off.
Right. Yep,
yeah.
Yep.
And it's like, there's still uncertain things because, like Nick said, you just aren't that type of person to do what they're saying you did. And the only ones that are very happy with the results of everything are Daniel, Phyllis, Lucy and Summer, because, now Daniel's spared, going to jail or prison and the truth came out, but is Sharon really the culprit, with everything?
What is she actually responsible for? Yeah. What part of it?
What is she responsible for? Because Ian and Jordan have their fingers in there somewhere.
Absolutely. I think you're right. Yep. I think that's right. All right. Any closing thoughts or comments?
Oh, I'm just trying to think here.
We covered a lot.
I know we covered a lot, and I think we'll have one prediction I have is,
Okay.
what's Devon's cousin? I can't think of his name.
Oh,
All of a
the
sudden, I'm drawing
doctor, the former
the doctor. Yeah, doctor.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's told that lady that he is going to search for her son, and who is his stepbrother.
Stepbrother.
So I believe when he finds that guy, he'll come back, and maybe that'll be a new love interest for Lily, perhaps because there's no relation there between that guy and Lily. So
Luann is predicting a new romance on the Young and the Restless.
I'm predicting a new romance.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
I always like it when they bring some little different twist into the show. That's always a good thing.
Know.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it sounds like the character that plays Abby, she was not signed to another contract.
Yeah,
so,
I saw that. I read that somewhere.
Yeah, so we may not see Abby as much, and which is too
or
bad
they'll bring
because
in a different character.
Maybe because
actress, I should say.
Yeah, because Devon and Abby, since their wedding, well, I suppose they're on their honeymoon, and hopefully we'll see more with Ashley and Tracy and her love interest, and because a lot of them have been put on the back burner.
That's been put on the burner. Yep.
Mm-hmm,
All right.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Until we dish again, Luann, keep it sudsy.
Oh yes.
And we are out.